explain how to avoid their trap, because that's what it is.
It's a scheme.
It depends on, it's all a Ponzi scheme, and it depends on what you're willing to give up, okay? Everybody has to choose their battle. They have to choose how much hassle you're willing to put up with, okay? Like, we have Dennis and Jean, who choose not to have a driver's license and not to be enslaved in that fashion. Well, then they've got to put up with the harassment that comes from that, and they're willing to. And they spend tireless hours writing their briefs and their motions and taking it through the courts. Same thing with Jim Langston. He's going after the federal government on a criminal case, okay? It depends on what you're willing to do, what you're willing to give up. Loma and I have chosen something very different. We're going to keep our driver's license because we don't need that hassle. What our focus is on getting the people organized to put pressure on our local officials, because we don't have any control in the state except for those in our district, and we darn sure don't have any control over the feds. There's nothing we can do about that except for those who run from our district. But on a national level, taking it, no, ain't going to happen. It's all got to start right here. But that process needs to be able to be duplicated in every county across the country. And it's really very simple. We have to come together, stop fighting amongst ourselves for whatever reason, and understand that we're all here for 3 or 4 fundamental principles. First 3, life, liberty, and property. Well, what is liberty? It is property. You can't have one without the other. And freedom, property is included in that too. It's our biggest thing. Without property, without private property and private property rights, everything belongs to the state. And right now, is there anybody in here who owns land with an alloidal or patent title? Anybody? Okay, well then you do.
We did at one time, but it didn't pan out any good because they never took us off the tax roll. But we went through quite a hassle doing it, and it's here in Douglas County. And as long as you're on the tax roll, I don't care how wet you think your land is, until you get off that tax roll, you're not free from it.
Exactly. So you never own anything. So right now, we're in a Marxist country, a Marxist society, okay? We're at communism, folks. If you don't believe me, pull it up on the internet, read the 27 points, not just the first 10 planks. Look at it, and you tell me one that we don't fall under now. We have been duped, propagandized, and brainwashed, and asleep at the wheel because we love our stuff.
Yep.
And we thought we were free.
Really,
but as
it only
long
took them 100 years to do it.
That's right, 150. But still, okay, it's going to take us a while to get it back too, but it starts right here. And by right here, I mean right here. And in our homes and in our local communities. Okay, we've got to take the time to do something about it. We've got to come together and work. We're spread so thin right now with all of the organizations doing their thing that we're duplicating work. We're sending money hither and yon. And, you know, $5 here, $10 there doesn't do a whole lot of good to really organize a plan, okay, a process that can really work. We've got to come together. We can all still have our own organizations. That's where we handle all of the little personal things. But if we're talking about life, liberty, and property, we've all got to come together from all of those organizations, get focused, get working, and stick with it. Because if we don't, it's not going to happen. It's that simple. And that means holding our county officials, state officials, accountable, federal officials, but local ones, each and every one. But also understanding that ripple effect. It's just like they said, even though it's out of our district, every one of the laws that they're able to pass affects every single one of us. And that's why our website is set up the way that it is so that you guys, we've always said for the 10 years we've been doing this, verify, verify, verify. Don't take anything we say for granted. Okay? I'm human, I could be wrong. And if I am, I want to know about it. But that's what our site is all about. It's giving you the tools and materials in the right places to do your homework, to understand what's happening and how to fix it. Nancy?
Well, I think one of the most important things is to get some commissioners to those meetings. Or else, as you say, bring the guy up here. Are there any of those commissioners? You said some were sounding interested in going over in Coos County or somewhere else?
No, the eastern counties, Grant County, Umatilla,
Shoots,
Deschutes,
Klamath.
and Klamath.
Are you
Right.
going to get anyone down into Arizona?
We hope so. We've sent them information on it. Not necessarily to Arizona. We're not going to be able to do that before their weather comes in, but come next spring, we do hope to.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, the commissioners we have here in Douglas County, they all show interest around election time, okay? As soon as election's over, that's history. It's all gone.
Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but at the last commissioners meeting we were at, which was last Wednesday, the fairgrounds got up and started talking about how in disrepair the fairgrounds is. They did a really nice PowerPoint presentation on it, and this has been a contention of Loma and I's regarding the spending of public funds and public-private partnerships, which is another thing that is Agenda 21 ICLEI. Okay? Susan Morgan's solution at the end of the presentation was, well, how about we give you $500,000? Do you guys agree? Should we give him $500,000 of the public's money to repair the fairgrounds?
No, they're charging outrageous prices for everything now.
I agree. They are charging outrageous prices.
Ray, she calls that a challenge grant.
Challenge grant, yeah.
Really?
And I don't know, I've never heard that term, so I'm assuming they're gonna put it out more to the public. They wanna get some feel on that, and all three commissioners, oh, it's a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it, cause they bring in 4-H and all that, and it is a good thing, but it would be nice if it was donated money instead of the taxpayer money, but I don't think we'll stand a chance with that. 'Cause
Right.
there's a lot of influential people behind it that are pushing it.
Right. And the thing of it is that those grant funds are available through Department of Agriculture, Department of Interior, and a couple of other departments that you wouldn't think of, like Transportation and several others, that they can write themselves. There is absolutely no reason that our county commissioners should be involved in that in any way, shape, or form.
That's for sure. We had way better functions out there, 4-H included, without any grants when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. We did too.
Yeah.
And exactly, we had timber dollars. You got it. And the taxes weren't as high, and the unemployment wasn't where it is. That's the other thing we're being lied to in this county.
Well,
is the
we get it
unemployment.
from the media here too, if you're relying on the local media to fill you in on what's happening, you don't know nothing.
Yep.
That's the bottom line of that.
Actually, you know less than nothing because they like to disinform you.
Well,
Yeah,
Doug
they do.
Robertson
They
did-
will flat out lie.
Doug pulled a fast one too. He pretended, well, he didn't pretend, he did not check with Apache County on their solution. He went straight to the forest supervisor.
Yeah.
And of course, forest supervisor is going to tell him what they want to tell him, what the Forest Service is doing, which is basically nothing.
Well, that's something I'd like to let everybody know today too, that, KQEN is a famous one for misinforming people and feeding them full of bull. Now, they're up to have their license renewed, okay? Everybody should get a hold of the FCC and let your complaints be known to them, because they have to pass their process and show that they're a use to the public. You know, that they're doing a public service here. They're not. They're doing us all a disservice.
You know, we all think that, oh, well, you know, it's just me. It's not going to matter. As far as it comes time to voting or contacting your Congress critters or whatever the case may be. And what we're finding more and more as these changes are occurring is that it is literally by 5 to 7 phone calls, emails, or one person personally showing up, or 7 to 12 votes. Okay? There's a huge split, and there is a huge movement in this country right now. People are waking up, and that's Democrats and Republicans alike, independents and constitutionalists. This is not a party issue. This affects every single one of our bottom line. And if you want to get people emotional, dig into their pocketbooks enough, and they'll start paying attention. When you look at the news today, there's nothing that you can do anymore without seeing where another cop has screwed up and shot somebody because they thought something was happening. Or they tased an 80-year-old woman or a 7-year-old boy.
I saw a naked man.
Or shot a naked man.
Or SWAT teamed an old folks home even.
Or have even taken homes over to do surveillance against the owner's wills. So, but if you look at that, that's not the rural areas. They know better. But what is the ultimate goal? Believe it or not, conspiracy theory or conspiracy fact, I don't care if you believe it or not. They're trying to drive us into the metropolitan areas. They're trying to kill the rural way of life because we are more easily controlled when we're set up as chattel rather than free and spread out. Think about it from a tactical nature. Be realistic with yourselves. I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm just saying it is what it is. Think back to basic battle tactics. Look at what's happened. Follow the facts. Don't take my word for it. You know, for 10 years we've been doing this. The first 5 we were called nuts and kooks. Okay? The next 3 it was like, wow, you know, maybe we should have listened. I think we'll start doing some homework. And the last 2, it's like, hey, will you tell me where to get information on this? I need more. I want to know more. I want to understand and know what I can do. And we can tell you at every meeting what it is that you can do, but you know what? If you don't show up and do it, nothing's going to get done. And you're somebody, you know. Well, let them do it. Well, you're the them, you know, or somebody ought to do something about that. You're the somebody. We've been in front of the commissioners so many times, it goes in one ear and out the other. It's like a 14-year-old with a parent. They don't hear us. And that's why we need you guys there. And we need more than you guys. We understand that a lot of people can't make the meetings because of the time that they have it. But you know what? They can send a fax and they can make a phone call and voice their opinion. Or they can show up when they can show up. Or send a friend with a letter that's signed by 10 or 12 people in their neighborhood. There are so many things that can be done that are not being done. And we've got to start doing them. Or we're going to continue to be in this position. My soapbox is organization and action. Because action without knowledge is fatal. You have your throat slit. But knowledge without action is futile.